Okay, so this morning I've been dealing with some more compiler issues. Well, correction, not compiler issues. My code compiles, just execution issues. So during the code, I had some runtime errors. So basically, when I started I actually was doing a video where I did a walkthrough, and actually, from the moment that the issue happened this morning, and then I solved the issue, and it was about a 35-minute video where I was going through doing troubleshooting, debugging, following the debugger via CLine, as well as doing a bunch of just printout statements for myself, which is what all this junk is. Um, but because my computer is going incredibly slow this morning, and just you know, it's an old computer. It's just seems to have reached its life. It's just going incredibly slow. So I've restarted it. I've got all background processes kind of halted, but CLion alone, the IDE, seems to slow down, and then recording slows it down even more. So there's a little bit of a lag. But bottom line is, the issue that I was having was, let me just get more on the screen here. So I don't know if you can even see the lag as I'm going to try to click things. There is a huge delay from when I click on something or try to go to it till it actually happens. It's incredibly annoying and slow. But what are you going to do? So basically what was happening this morning was this. Once all my things show up, I'm going to rerun this code, which risks shutting the whole system down because, again, there's a lot of issues. You can even see how slow from the time I pressed play to what's happening. So basically, I run the code, and this morning what was happening was when I went to go somewhere, like I typed east, I would be asked, hey, do you want to enter riddle? If I entered no, it would work fine. If I entered something beyond no, it would work fine as well. But if I entered yes or any variation of yes, which I clicked a second ago, but it's going to take a second to get there, I would get this. It would shut down here. So none of this would have been printed. It just would have shut down. And so these are all my debug printouts that I was creating this morning as I was walking through. But again, the video just went into ether because my computer shut down. But basically, what was happening, the reason I was having the issue, this would just hang up, and then it would terminate. It didn't even give me any real error. It just stopped. And so these printouts, what I ended up discovering this morning was, in the text-based adventure game, I was ultimately calling this ask riddle function because on this returns a riddle object, riddles.at, because riddles is a vector of type riddle. And then the at method accesses whatever element within the vector, and then I call the ask riddle method on it. And there was a lot of stuff happening. I'm not going to go read through it. That was like a half an hour thing this morning, me going through painstakingly following the different methods and function calls and the helper methods, and doing a lot of printout statements to find out what was wrong. But ultimately, it ended up being something very simple. It ended up being this riddle number. So I'm in the riddle header file. I have a riddle number associated with things right here, and I didn't have the curly brace is here earlier, so I just had declared riddle number, but I had never initialized it in the CPP file, or here for that matter. Just the semicolon was originally here. I didn't have the curly braces, so it was basically creating a garbage value, and then in the riddle code, when I basically through the methods, I initialize in my constructors, I increment riddle number by incrementing it, but it was supposed to be initialized to 0, and then therefore I'd increment it be riddle 1, riddle 2. But because it was garbage data from the start, the number that riddle number started off with could have been 2 billion or 2 million or whatever. It was some garbage number, just some memory address, some random memory address, some garbage number. So incrementing it just gave me another garbage number, and therefore it was terminating because it wasn't in my range. So that's ultimately what happened earlier. The whole error came down to the fact that I didn't have my variable riddle number, my instance variable associated with the riddle class, initialized to 0 at the start. That one little error caused a lot of issues. It was hard to find. I didn't find the debugger was very useful in helping me find that, and I had to do print statements, which ultimately led me to it. But I had to go through a lot of different methods because I've used a lot of modularity in this code, breaking down the problem. So ultimately, I was able to fix it. Again, I wish I wouldn't have lost the video because I did a full walkthrough of, in real time, me doing the debugging, adding the print statements and everything, finding the problem, and then we solved it. But I figured I'd at least indicate a problem that I had so that I have it documented for myself. So that's pretty much it. But now it works fine. And again, we're going to wait and see what the next problem is. But I'm going to shut this down because, again, I need to try to shut down the computer again. You can see how slow this computer is. For example, I'm going to grab onto this right now and yank it way up. And you can see just how it goes up in steps, how slow this is. It's getting a little quicker, but... Anyway, that was the problem this morning. I didn't initialize one of my instance variables to 0. I forgot to initialize it. I just declared it, so therefore it had a garbage value in it. And, which is why we should always initialize things. And because of that garbage value, when I was incrementing it, I just got another garbage value. A bigger garbage value, but just a garbage value. And that caused a lot of problems. So, coding is fun.